Oh, yes.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to take a look at the new Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy Netflix series, Autobot Chromia. This is a direct read echo of the Siege Chromia toy, and is very similar to that as a result. Basically being the same figure with more battle damage or like dirt paint applications. So there's not going to be a whole lot of new stuff to see here. And in all honesty, if the performance of my last Chromia review is anything to go by, this probably won't do so well. But I'm going to review all these because I feel compelled to. So if you've seen my reviews before, you know how this goes. We're going to take a look at Chromia's packaging. Then we'll open it up, we'll see the instructions, we'll see the little Teletran 1 background piece that she comes with, and then we'll see Chromia herself in both her vehicle and robot modes. Do some group shots with the regular Chromia toy. I don't think I'm going to bust out all the other Moon Racer molds for this. It's getting to be a bit much at this point. But then at the end, of course, I'll give my final thoughts. So Chromia comes in high contrast, black, white, and red packaging. You see her front and center. You can see her little grenades or gun barrel things. You can see her regular gun on the inside there. And there are some plastic color differences. Specifically, like her forearms are done up in that dark gray color where it's just kind of painted on other areas. So it's not just a straight repaint, which is nice. Here on the side, you get this artwork, which I think is just the Siege version. So kind of low effort there, because some other characters actually get new artwork. She's just low effort, like the Chromia toy. On the back, you get the updated render, same render as the Siege one, just with the new colors. And then on the side, you get the Netflix version of the Siege artwork. All right, here's Chromia's instruction book. Same old render on the front. Here shows you two possible combinations for her weapons. You can make a big old super gun out of them, or you can use these little nubby parts as grenades. And then here you just have the transformation, so nothing really new there. And here's her piece of the Teletran 1 backdrop. See, this one's got a bit more going on for it than some of the others. All sorts of consoles and screens, so that's neat. You got like your little letters and tabs and slots, and I just noticed that these have like a crease in them. So I'm guessing you need to actually bend these to make it work, which I kind of figured you would. So I'm not crazy about having to bend this stuff because it just makes it less structurally sound over time. All right, now here we have Chromia's vehicle mode, and it actually has a few little surprises on it. So we already know about, the extra kind of graying or singeing effect, but the windshield is all new as far as its coloration and decoration. So it's done up in a translucent blue instead of just a clear white this time, and it's got all of these kind of scratches on there meant to emulate, scraped up glass. So that's a neat touch. Helps add some more character to the toy. She's also got this kind of dirtying or burning effect here on the front. You get a whole bunch of this graying effect on here. Most of her weapon parts are done up in that dark gray plastic, with the exception of a little scope piece here. And you also get a bit of that graying on the shins here too. We'll see more of that in robot mode. So I am surprised by just how different this ends up looking, despite being pretty much the same color scheme, just with some new battle damage. Now here we have the group shot with Siege Chromia, as well as Generation Select's Nightbird. And I can't believe I actually forgot about Nightbird in the beginning of this video. Forgot there was even another use of this mold out there, but yeah, there she is. So like I said, same overall color scheme, overall, designs, just much dingier. Now, some people might not like that. However, I'm actually a little more drawn to this version. One thing I didn't like about the standard Siege Chromia toy was, for one, it was very brightly colored in a line kind of characterized by darker, more muted colors. And everything was just kind of very flat, very samey. So I don't know, I just always felt very unimpressed by the way she looks. However, with this added bit of shading and detail, I think this makes this vehicle form a lot more interesting. I do like the blue windshield as opposed to just the completely clear one, because then you can just kind of see all the ugliness hiding beneath. And then the added, you know, paint apps and all that, just I think kind of complete the package. One thing I mentioned in a previous review, and I wanted to kind of showcase it here, I talked about how, so the chest pieces in all three of these are made of clear plastic and they're just heavily painted. And every one of them has this little 5mm port on the top. You can plug this in, but they're all cracked along the top. Like the holes were just a little too small to really accommodate these weapons, so every single one of them ended up cracking on the top there. Not a huge issue, not very noticeable. You know, let's see it right there. And if anything, it does allow for the weapon to slide in and out more easily, but it is definitely a design flaw, right? Your toy shouldn't be breaking just by you following the instructions and putting parts where they're supposed to go. So it seems to be something that's just universal across this mold. So if you get any version of this, just kind of expect that to happen. That hole is just slightly too small to accommodate the weapon, and it is going to give, you know, somewhere along the top there to accommodate. If you don't really care about that, then that's fine. If you don't want that to happen, I would recommend not plugging your weapon into that hole in the top. All right, now we have Chromia in a robot mode. And one of the things that I found very interesting is just how much of her is redone in that dark gray plastic. You know, not just her weapons, but everything from her forearms, her shoulders, this area behind her neck there, these two bits of like side panel kibble, and then her entire lower legs minus the ankle joints, I mean kibble too, all done up in that gray plastic, and then where they want it to be blue, they just kind of spray painted blue. So, interesting. Honestly, just how much of her plastic colors are swapped around. And they did such a good job of blending it together, it's not immediately obvious at a first glance. And again, here are the mold mates for comparison, and you can see just how much brighter the original Siege Chromia is compared to this one. Now, swapping out her majority light blue plastic for this gray is a very noticeable effect on the overall presentation. She seems much more in line with the other figures that are being released within this little Netflix subline, but also as the greater Siege itself. Another interesting bit is that her head crest details are a bit different. Here she has this one red crest kind of in the middle. Here she has black right above her eyes and then more black on top. So they changed that around, which was interesting. And I think that's the only bit of her decor that's been altered, aside from, you know, battle damage and stuff. Another thing I noticed is that while the light blue is, well, less light blue, the blue is more or less the same color, her lighter color, this whitish bluish color, is actually different between these. Here it's more of a very light gray as opposed to the blue or green tint that it has on the original toy. So they did actually modify that a bit. Oh, it's also missing the little white stripes on her feet there. So another small difference. So as far as which one of those two are better, it's really gonna be up to your personal tastes. Personally, I like the new one more. I think it just works so much better for the line that it's in. Then of course you got Nightbird over here just being cool. Not really much of a comparison, whole different characters, so I'm not gonna rate them against each other, but I wanted you to see the different variations of this mold. So yeah, that's really all we need to see here. You can see it's just a much darker, grittier looking take on Chromia. Some small differences in her design. Overall, you get the same toy though. So is this figure worth it? You know, that depends. The Chromia mold, in my opinion, and it still holds true, is one of the weakest, if not the weakest, deluxe molds in all of Siege. And, you know, part of that is owed to the fact that it recycles quite a bit from Power of the Primes, which wasn't really on the same level engineering-wise. I mean, just look at their awful Starscream, for example. Yeah, they still hadn't moved away from ball joints, so her hips suffer some stability issues because of that. Though I will say her hips are a little bit tighter, a little bit more sturdy than her hip joints. Hers are very floppy if you mess with them. At least at my copy. You know, mileage may vary, of course. So the mold didn't get any better, right? It's still the same thing. The presentation, I think, is so much better. I really like this new take on her. It really helps her be portrayed as the battle-hardened veteran that she is. Because Chromia has always been kind of a no-nonsense, tough girl character. I mean, that's why she and Ironhide typically hit it off so well. So I think this is a much more visually striking representation of the toy. So if you didn't already pick up Chromia because you didn't like her, I would say now is the time if you just don't mind having this mold in general. She works so much better in your Siege collection. The QC, if anything, is slightly better than the original, at least in my anecdotal experience. So this is going to be the best version you can get. Again, if you just hate the mold, yeah, I can't help you there. You won't like the mold. I anticipate this is going to shelf warm the hardest out of all of them. If the Siege Chromia is anything to go by, she's pretty universally, I don't know if I'd say hated, but there was a lot of disinterest in picking her up. And it's a shame, because a lot of people won't give this a chance and, you know, enjoy it for what it is. In fact, this review is probably going to tank, just like my last Chromia review. I actually debated whether or not I was even going to make this, because I know just people are going to see Chromia and be like, nope. But for completion's sake and getting the info out there for people that want to see it, I decided to go ahead with this. But anyway, I don't know, tell me what you guys think. You know how I feel about this generally. The mold's pretty trash, but this is a better use of it. Where do you guys stand? Do you have any interest in picking this up? Beyond maybe just the compulsive need to complete that Teletran 1 backdrop? Do you think it's enough of an improvement to warrant a purchase if you didn't pick it up the first time? Are you a big sucker like me and you're going to double dip on this anyway because you're just irresponsible with your money? Any and all takes are always welcome, whether you disagree with me or not. I will never give anyone a hard time for disagreeing. If you enjoyed this look at Chromia and you're one of the 30 people that watch this review, make sure to toss a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my reviews or any of my other content, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you always get a heads up when I post something new. I thank you for bearing with me through yet another look at this Chromia toy. And with all that said, I will see you next time.